The long wait for Euro 2020 is finally over. In the build-up to the big kickoff, we are doing something special. We have scoured the Twitterverse to find a representative from each of the 24 nations competing in this summer's European Championships. We will be recording a preview with each representative who will be sharing views on their nation's hopes and expectations throughout the tournament, and most importantly, the fantasy assets we should be looking out for. Welcome to Euro 2020 Happy Hour. Hello and welcome to our Euro 2020 preview series with myself, Sham, otherwise known as FPL 2 Guys 1 Cup on Twitter.
Myself, Rob, otherwise known as FPL Panda.
Tonight, Rob, we've got another guest, and they are representing the nation that are ranked #1 in the world for the last 3 years, and that is Belgium and Joachim. Joachim, welcome.
Hello, guys. Thank you.
Evening.
You for having me here. Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm fine. Thank you. I listened all your pods. It was a great time already.
Guys, I don't know how you managed to listen to all of them. I don't know anyone that's listened to all of them yet, I'll be honest. A lot of people are like listening to all of them within like 48 hours and they're going to be like piling through all of them. But it's nice to know that you've enjoyed them. So you'll be well rehearsed for this evening's pod.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. Joachim, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, what football team you support, if you play FPL, and how you pronounce your name? Because I'm sure I've not done it correctly, as with everyone else's so far.
So, guys, I'm Joachim Geens. Joachim, I'm 30 years old. I'm a physiotherapist. I'm from Belgium. I live in Mechelen. And that is also the team I am a huge fan of, KV Mechelen. The nice yellow-red shirt from Belgium. Here they are.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Yes, it's the most beautiful colors. No, I am a huge football fan. I played it myself from 5 years till my 27. I had to stop football because I had very, very bad knees. I was always injured, so I had to make the very difficult decision. But I watch a lot of football. I watch the Premier League, the Championship, the Belgium First League. I watch Champions League, World Cups, Euro Cups, etc. So I watch a lot. I'm a little bit a football fanatic. I can say that. I'm a little bit a geek in football. Besides KV Mechelen, my team here in Belgium, I am a huge fan of Chelsea in England. When I was 7 years old, I played my first game FIFA 98, the 98 version. And I played with Chelsea, and there was a little Italian guy, Gianfranco Zola. And I don't know why, but it was great to play with him. And I was always talking to my dad about Gianfranco Zola. And when I was 10 years old, he took me to Stamford Bridge. So I was there when I was 10 years old, and the love began for the Blues. Until now, I am a huge fan of Chelsea. It is pre-Abramovich time, so because
Not
otherwise, yeah. I play FPL, but just recently, since this year, because I'm a huge Football Manager player. And for me, the only real manager game was the Football Manager. And years, guys were talking about fantasy, and I say, no, I play the real game. Till now, this year, this summer, there was a friend of mine, and he challenged me. He said, I want to play against you. So I thought, I know much more about football, so this is going to be easy. But after game week 1, he was 30 points ahead of me because I know a lot of football, but he knows a lot of fantasy games. And in game week 2, I played my first wild card. And it was better, but still, he outscored me. So I was mad. I was really mad because I know more of football. So I became a little bit addicted. I listen pods. I start reading articles. I was with Ben Krellin's cheats. Every day I was busy building my team, and I think in the first 10, 11 weeks I took many hits, 36, I guess. So I was ranked 3 million, 2 million, but I ended 40K.
Oh,
Wow,
nice one.
Yeah.
nice.
Awesome.
Did you beat your friend?
I beat him
Of
with
course, he
50
beat his
points.
friend.
Nice.
Yes, of course.
Nice.
That's
No,
it. So that was your first season this season playing
Yeah.
FPL.
I have to be honest. Last year, I made on the first day, first match day, I made a team, and it was actually a ghost team. I never looked again, so I played, and I was last year ever 2 million, 2,500,000 with a ghost team. I did nothing, just one team, and Kevin De Bruyne was mine captain.
nice.
He must have been
Okay.
listening to us then for the second half of the season.
Yeah,
To get
definitely
up to
listening
that
to us, right?
40K. Yeah.
Somewhat.
Do you play any other fantasy games or just FPL?
I did the Champions League fantasy game, but just after the group stage.
Okay. Well, it's nice to have a football nut on the show. You'll be well rehearsed then for this podcast, and I'm sure we'll get a lot of knowledge out of you. Let's talk about Belgium then. How did you guys do in the qualification?
It's a long time ago, but it was easy for us. We played 10 games, 10 victories, 40 goals scored, and only 3 conceded. So the two games against Russia, we won with 3-1 and 1-4, and we conceded 1 goal in our last game against Cyprus. But actually, in the last 2 years, there's so much that changed. Actually, the road to this Euro is not so important anymore because it was easy for us. We played with our best team the most of the games. We won easily. There weren't really difficult games for us. Lukaku 7 goals, Hazard 5 goals, Batshuayi 4 goals. It was a goal fest, and I think we scored the most of all the countries, and we conceded the least amount of goals. I think.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that, but yeah. When we saw the draft of the group, yeah, everyone in Belgium was certain we're gonna go to the Euros, no matter what. And when we would play a draw or a lose, it would be bad because we are much better than all the teams in that group.
Yeah.
So
I guess being ranked number one, there comes with a. Do you feel like there comes with a lot of expectation now as a Belgium, fan? Is there you expect to win every game because you are ranked
yeah,
at number one in the world? Is that how you
yeah,
feel?
yeah, and you see it in our style of playing. We play our games, and we are the boss on the ball. We have most ball possession. We play very high, and you see our confidence in our game. That first place on the FIFA ranking, you can see that because 5 years ago we have almost the same team, and we play very different under Mark Wilmots, our coach before Roberto Martinez. We had the same players, and back then they already played for very great teams in Europe. But now we play as a number one, and
Interesting.
it's great to see the dominance, and not only against a Gibraltar or a Cyprus, but when last game against England, the 2 games we play so with confidence, and that is great to see.
So I guess, like you mentioned, the qualification was some time ago.
Yeah.
So since then, obviously, you've had the Nations League and the World Cup qualifying.
Yeah.
How have you guys done in recent times, and what's kind of changed to a couple of years ago?
Yeah, a couple of years ago, before our golden generation, we struggled against every team, every country, but even against the small ones, we struggled. But now, in the Nations League, we won 2 times again Iceland. We won 2 times again Denmark, a 4-2 and a 2-0. And we won against England 2-0, and we lost 2-1 in England. So it was, but those games were before December, yeah. And back then we still had Witsel. It's very important. Now the World Cup qualifiers, we played against Wales. We won 3-1. Was not a good game. We conceded, but Wales could have scored more. We played against Czechia, 1-1. It was really a bad game, and Czechia was fine. They played really well. I don't know you saw the games, but we were not that team that I used to be the last couple of years, and the factor Witsel is very important in that. And then we played against Gibraltar, but yeah, you can't say not. We won 8-0, I think, yeah, 8-0. But yeah, and now the friendlies. Now we played against Greece, 1-1. Not a good game. Our attacking football was less than we used to. Our defense was weak. Greece could score more. But tonight, our final game, Croatia, we won 1-0, and it was a good game. We didn't give chances away. We could have won with 3 or 4-0. Lukaku was again amazing. I don't know. Did you watch the game tonight?
No, I didn't watch it.
I didn't see the.
You have to watch.
No.
You have to watch the highlights. You have to watch the highlights.
That's been my thing. I think over the last few days, it's because there's been so many friendlies.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, a lot of the friendlies. It's very easy as well to try and get really sucked in on them, and look into a lot of things where, like certain players playing and formations. So I'm trying to avoid watching whole games of the friendlies because a lot of the info there isn't relevant. Yeah, just watching the highlights each evening. So that's my job for after this will be to watch today's highlights.
Yeah, but it was a great rehearsal for our game against Russia, because I think the team of tonight is almost the team that will play against Russia on Saturday, and it was a really good game. Croatia is a good contestant, is a good team. They played the finals of the World Cup, and we were much better. And so, yeah, it was again what I say. It was again our dominant game style. The play, our style of play was again dominant. We were, we were much better. So,
would you say this Belgium side are coming into the tournament with kind of unsure form or indifferent form? Because obviously you had that draw, and then obviously you had another draw in the friendly against Greece. I know it was just a friendly, but I almost feel like with Belgium, I feel like it's either going to be 5-0 or 0-0 or 1-1 or something. You know, I feel like sometimes you just don't know what Belgium side turns up. I don't know. What do you think?
It will never be a 0-0, because since our last game against France in the World Cup in the semifinals, we played 30 games and we scored in every game. Okay. So Belgium scores always. But our form, before this game, I wasn't sure about our team and about the Euros, because there are a lot of ifs. Is Witsel ready? Is Kevin De Bruyne ready? What with Hazard? Where is he? Hazard, where is he? So they are so important for our country, for our football, that in my eyes we are not a favorite. We are an outsider, and I don't think without them we have a chance on winning the tournament.
Yeah, I guess the only thing that's missing from this Belgium side now is a cup, right? Like a World Cup or a European, because you guys have been ranked for the last 3 years #1, and before that, you know, between 2000 and 2016, your appearances at major tournaments wasn't really consistent. and it's great to see that you guys are doing so well. But I just, outside of England, I want you guys to win something because it's nice. Although you're ranked number one, I still feel like you're underdogs in some sort of way because you haven't won a major tournament for a long time. So let's talk about your players then. You mentioned Witsel is injured. What are you going to miss him a lot, and what style of play will you guys change differently without him there? And also, who else is important to that Belgium side, and what do they bring?
So if you look at our team, we won't change a thing because one strength of Roberto Martinez in international football is he knows you are only in a year, you are with that group for a month in total. So he always plays the same system to get some some automatization in your team. So he plays always the 3-4-3. But actually, I call it more a 3-4-1-2. And the position of Witsel is very important because we are a very attacking side. We attack very high. Our wingers, there are no wing backs. They are wingers. They have really more an attacking purpose than a defensive purpose. So we are very attacking, and then the role of Witsel in that team, he's the glue. He's the main man between the lines. He have for Belgium so much ball recovery. He's playable and he don't take risks. Witsel, when he gets the ball, he never plays immediately the forward pass. He plays back, he plays to the side, but he's for the control of that team. That is very important because we are a very attacking team. So he's not there, and the Donker, Leandro the Donker from Wolverhampton, he plays there now, but it's not the same guy. He's not the same player. He's okay. He's a big man. He has also ball recovery, but he's not that glue guy. He's not the man between the attack and the defense. What Witsel could for us, and what is this moment, the situation on Witsel, he won't play the first two games, so he won't play Russia, he won't play Denmark, and normally he should play 30 minutes against Finland, so he can make minutes and be ready for the round of the 16th finals. But I'm not sure. He didn't play since 9 January. I don't know if he can be that guy he is for Belgium. So yeah, we would see that. I don't know. I don't think he will be ready for his position in that team for a total game of 90 minutes. I don't think so. But enough on Witsel. As I say, very important players for our team are first place Lukaku, Kevin De Bruyne, of course, Eden Hazard, of course, Witsel, and then Courtois. Those are not fantasy, but just our team. That is the core of our team. Courtois, because he's the best goalie in the world. For me, he's the best. He has so many games. He just have to save one ball, and he is there always. The bad balls he ever had, I can count him on one hand. He's really a great goalkeeper. And in attack, yes, the numbers, they speak for themselves. Lukaku, tonight he made his 60th goal for Belgium in 93 games. Wow. That is incredible. It's really incredible. I looked at some other stats from Lukaku. Since the World Cup, he he made 20 goals and 6 assists in 16 games. So that is a goal every 68 minutes and an attacking return every 50 minutes. So that's why he's our talisman. He has an attacking return every 50 minutes. That is insane. So he's incredible. Yeah, sorry, there he is. also this season in the Serie A for Inter, he made 24 goals and also 10 assists. So he's in an amazing form. He's yeah. There isn't a player that is in such form as Lukaku, I think, in the world. Maybe Lewandowski, he was great too. But no, Lukaku is such a great player. He was for Belgium the leading scorer at age of 24. So he made the most goals for Belgium when at the age 24, and he reached the 50th goal faster than Messi, Ronaldo, Zlatan, Lewandowski. So it's incredible. What this guys means for Belgium is incredible. So enough about Lukaku.
It's nice. Do you know what? It's nice to hear you talking about Lukaku in such a positive light, because years ago, I remember you saying to me off air, Belgian people didn't really like Lukaku. They had, they rated the likes of Batshuayi and Benteke above Lukaku, right?
Yes, really, really. I know the World Cup 2014, I think, of the Euros of 2016, Lukaku started always as the main striker, but he didn't score in the first game, and suddenly he was out of the team. Then one year there was Batshuayi, another year there was Origi, and the fans, they didn't like him. I don't know why. He's such a good striker. He's enormous. Yeah.
Nice. Well, okay. One thing that I'm keen to understand, obviously, you mentioned about Hazard and De Bruyne.
Yes.
Where is Hazard and what's happening? Is the lack of Hazard and potentially De Bruyne for a couple of games, is that going to affect you guys? Let's talk about Hazard first.
Okay, Hazard, yeah, he was. I can't say he is, but he was more important for Belgium than De Bruyne at the World Cup. Not only the World Cup, but the years around, Hazard was more important for Belgium. But now, yeah, what can I say? He was this week. He did an interview for Belgian television, and I saw a man who is retiring.
Really?
I couldn't believe my eyes. He's 30 years old since a couple of weeks, and he looks like a guy who is quitting football. The way he talk, there is no fire in him. So for me, I don't know, because I'm a Chelsea fan. I am a huge Hazard fan, but it's very strange. Tonight he made 10 minutes in the game. It's his first minutes since November 2019 for Belgium. So it's a long time, and he didn't play for almost 2 years. So match fitness 0. So he won't play the first match. I think he will be substituted, and he will play 30 minutes against Russia, maybe 45 minutes against Denmark, maybe 90 minutes against Finland. So he could be ready for, also like Witzel, maybe he's ready for the 16 finals, but he isn't ready now. He isn't ready. No. Very sad, because
it's a shame, really, because like I mean, we've all. I'm a Man United fan, but I appreciated Eden Hazard as that player for Chelsea, because he was brilliant. Like, on his day, no one could defend against him. There wasn't a right back in the league that could get near him when he was running at them, and he produced some great moments. And I think this move that, like a couple of years ago, that move to Real Madrid, I think it was that move. I think happened for him a couple of years too late, because that Real Madrid team was breaking up. That great Madrid team that won the Champions League so many times, it was breaking up, and he was supposed to be coming in to be like the start of the new team, but he was too old. He's too old to be the start of the new team, really.
Yeah, and it started with he came the first day in Bernabeu, and he was 5 kilogram too heavy for when he made his medical examinations at Bernabeu. He was 5 kilo less than when he arrived in the summer. That is not what a star player does. It was that the start of him at Real Madrid was with a fall. It wasn't right. The whole package. It was too heavy. It was. He came some weight. It was very strange. And no, I don't know where the Hazard from Chelsea is. The joy he played with so much joy. I can't see it anymore. There is no joy in Hazard anymore. Yeah.
Do you think that that lack of Hazard in that Belgium side is going to affect you? Because I know you said that he hasn't played since November 2019 for Belgium, but obviously you guys have done okay since then. Do you think that that is going to be a big problem for Belgium without Hazard there? Do you have someone else with that creativity that Hazard usually brings instead?
I think the absence of Hazard is less important than the absence of De Bruyne and Witsel.
Okay.
But when you wanna when you want to become the champion of the Euros, you need Hazard.
Yeah.
But when you want to play a good Euros, quarterfinals, semifinals, as Belgium, you want to go to the semifinals, of course. You don't need Hazard as much as Kevin De Bruyne and Witsel.
So
but you need him.
Let's talk about De Bruyne. Obviously, I mean, I would ask you what does he bring to this Belgium side, but we all know how good De Bruyne is, right? So we don't need to talk too much about him. But does he play? Would you say he's a different type of player for Belgium than he is for Man City, or is he still that attacking, creative player for you guys? Because we noticed as we've been doing these podcasts, a lot of players, obviously they're the same player, but they play differently for their national side than they do their regular league team. Like Wijnaldum, for example, is more of an attacking player for Netherlands than for Liverpool. What would you say De Bruyne is?
Actually, he's the same player because in Manchester City he plays on a lot of positions. He plays a false nine. He plays at the number 8. He plays the number 10. He plays at the wings sometimes. And in Belgium he does that too. In our best team at the World Cup, he played next to Witsel on the midfield. But last year's he played when Tielemans was getting better, and Witsel played with Tielemans. He played in that space behind Lukaku, next to Hazard. So he played almost as a striker, a second striker after Lukaku. And yeah, from that position, he sometimes goes out to the wing and he plays from there. So he plays just like in City, a lot of other positions. But in Belgium, but is in City too, he can swerve around more. So he and Hazard, they change a lot of position. Look, De Bruyne goes to the left. De Bruyne goes to the right. He goes central. He goes everywhere where he wants to go. He has a lot of freedom in our team. Yes, yeah. But I think in City, it's almost the same. It's not that different. It's not that different.
And would you say that are there any players you think that are going to be worth looking at that are, we've got Witsel and Hazard and De Bruyne potentially not playing the first couple of games. Are there any other players, not necessarily from a fantasy option, but you think could cement their side and, if they have a good couple of games, could, cement their side whilst they're away?
Yeah, I think there is one name that he's, and I was hoping this for the last month of two. Carrasco, Yannick Ferreira Carrasco, he will replace Hazard. I'm sure of that. He will play on the spot of Hazard, and he's in a great form. What was it? I think in his last 9 games for Atletico Madrid, he scored 6. No. In his last 9 games, he scored 4 goals and 6 assists in 9 games. So he's in a great form, and you see when I watched him now against Greece and I watched him against Croatia, he's a man with confidence. He plays, he makes dribbles, and he's so fast. Yeah, he's a great player, and he will replace Hazard, and he will do it really good. He will be one of our most important players in the tournament.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before we look at your group, is there any other players that you want to quickly talk about?
You have our Tielemans. He will be the captain of our next generation. He's such a good player. And 3 years ago at the World Cup, he was on the bench. He came on. He played the third group game against England because we both England and Belgium were qualified. So he played that game. But he is so good. And also tonight, there were two standout performances: Lukaku and Tielemans. Tielemans again was. I don't know what's happened with that guy, but the last 2 years he improved his game so much. Yeah, he is really good, and I think in football he is ready to take a step higher.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's look at your group then.
Yeah.
Do you look at this group and think this is an easy 9 points, or do you look at this and go, we could struggle a little bit here, and because we haven't got De Bruyne and Hazard's not on form and Witzel's not around. Are there any concerns here with this group?
No, I don't think so. I think even without, I think De Bruyne, he will miss the first game, but I think he will be ready against Denmark because he had an operation yesterday. He had a little operation, but normally tomorrow he will be on the pitch training. So I think he will miss the Russia game. But normally the team that played tonight against Croatia is a very decent team. And they will win against Russia and against Denmark. Normally, De Bruyne is there, and yeah, we will win. We played against Denmark for the Nations League 2 times. We won pretty easy. I have to say Denmark is really improved. It's a good team. One of the 2 games, the first 30 minutes, they really played a very, very good game. But yeah, Belgium was too strong in both those games, and it was also without Hazard. So I think normally Belgium win. They have to win from Russia. Denmark, normally we will win, but it could be we draw against them. It could be because Denmark is, in my eyes, the second strongest team in this group, and against Finland, yeah, we will win.
You don't think the Finnish Mbappe will cause you some problems?
I listened, so I heard that. The Finnish Mbappe. As I told you, I watch a lot of football, and I watch also the Championship because I think that's one of the most beautiful competitions in the world. The 24 teams competing each other. So I watched Norwich a couple of times. I saw the Finnish Mbappe playing. He's a good striker, but I'm not afraid of him. But he's a good striker, but I'm not afraid. No.
Interesting. But do you think, because we've been looking a lot about match day 3. I know we're not talking about fantasy yet, but a lot of teams historically, and I imagine will be the same this tournament, will be resting players for their third game if they've already qualified. Do you think with Belgium resting players that they can, Finland could cause an upset or cause you guys problems, or do you think because you've got the likes of Witzel coming back and Hazard might get 90 minutes that game, that actually you guys will probably be quite strong anyway for that game?
Yeah, I think so. There will, when we are qualified, and normally it will be, we will play a weaker team, but weaker if Eden Hazard plays 90 minutes and Witzel is coming back, maybe, and Jeremy Doku, also a great young talent, 19 years old. I want to see Jeremy Doku this tournament. I'm going to be honest, the last one I have to talk about is Jeremy Doku. I don't know, you already saw him playing?
I've not heard of him, to be honest with you.
Jeremy Doku. He's a young guy. Last year 2 years ago, he had his breakthrough in Anderlecht at 17 years old, and from the first moment you saw, ooh, this is someone for the new generation. After this Eden Hazard and De Bruyne area, we have Tielemans and Jeremy Doku. He went this summer to Rennes, the France team, Rennes, for, I don't know, 30 million. I'm not sure. It was a lot of money. And he's now 19 years old, and his stats weren't that impressive. He played a lot of minutes, I think 30 games, and he only scored 2 goals and 3 assists. So you can say that's not so impressive, but he's so likable to see. He had the most successful dribbles in the La Ligue 1. He had 110 successful dribbles, and in comparison with Neymar had 90, Mbappe had 87, and he had 110 successful dribbles. So he's a very great player to see, and he's so fast. And he's 19 years old. Those stats about goals and assists, they will follow. So he will make some minutes this tournament, and the whole world will know who Jeremy Doku is. Yeah.
Nice. So my last question before we go on to fantasy is, can you guys win it? Do you think you'll win it?
No.
No.
If and this is the big 3 ifs. If Hazard can find his form in the 16 finals, if Witsel is there and De Bruyne can play without worries about his face, then we can win against every team. With Lukaku, who is a much better player than 3 years ago. He's now the best striker in the world, top 3 best strikers in the world. So if the 3 big ifs, Hazard, De Bruyne, and Witsel are there for the quarter and the semifinals, yes, we can win. But I don't think the 3 of them will play. So no, we can't become champions without them. No.
Interesting. Rob, have you got any questions before we talk fantasy?
The only thing I was going to say is, so match day 3, we all captaining Leandro Trossard. Would he play match day 3? Would he come in if you had already qualified, and we can all captain him again, like that?
I don't know.
Magnificent evening in FPL.
It was a great evening. It was a great evening.
A few weeks ago.
I don't know, because when I see it like I see it now, Hazard will play on his place, and Doku will play behind, I think, Benteke or Batshuayi. So then Trossard will be the first sub or second sub. So no, I don't think Trossard will make minutes this tournament.
I mean, it's just, I think, it's just amazing seeing like the names on the list of forwards, and you've got Lukaku, Hazard. We haven't even mentioned Dries Mertens in Napoli, and he's a brilliant player as well. And then you've got Benteke, who at the end of the season was in great form for Palace. He almost made it into my game week 38 team, but not quite. Batshuayi, who, I mean, he's struggled at times at Palace this season, but he's still, for Belgium, when he's had his chances, he's taken those.
He
chances.
scores always.
Yeah,
Batshuayi scores always. When Batshuayi plays, he scores. He has an incredible, incredible stats for Belgium. He really is good in Belgium. He is a good player. So when
I think my favourite moment of Batshuayi is when he smacked the ball off the post onto his head.
I was sitting here thinking, I was like, was that Batshuayi that did that?
Yes, 100% it was him.
That
was my favourite.
After Yanazai scored. It's one of those moments that's always on a YouTube compilation of Batshuayi kicking the ball into the post and then into his face.
You named all the strikers, and then you have to know Januzaj, pretty good player. Adnan Januzaj isn't there. Origi was a good player for us, isn't there. So Alexis Verscharen, Alexis Salamakers from AC Milan. He played a really good season. He's also a very good player. And then you have the young guy, Jari Verscharen at Anderlecht. He's next generation. We will have a good team, not like this team, but Belgium will be there.
I mean, a lot of these players are sort of at their peak.
Now.
Yeah. So, like a lot of them at the next Euros, there'll be a lot that aren't there anymore. Players like Witsel, maybe. Chadley probably won't be there. Dries Mertens definitely won't be there. He'll be 37 then. And then defence like Vermaelen, he won't be there. Vertonghen won't be there. So it's very much, if you're going to win something with this golden generation, it's now, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Because a lot of these players, they've got this Euros. They might have the World Cup next year as well, but then after that, they'll be pushing on a bit. So it's now or never moment.
A couple players from our golden generation are already retired. You had Vincent Kompany, Marouane Fellaini. He plays, but he retired from Belgium. Moussa Dembele, Raja Nainggolan. 4 players who were from the golden generation who already retired from Belgium, and Kompany fully retired. So the golden generation is coming to an end. It's sad. It's really sad.
I guess, would you say that for Belgium supporters, you kind of need to win over the next 3 tournaments, or it might not come through for a long time?
Yes,
that's kind of it. It's like it's kind of not now or never, but it's now or not for a long time.
Yeah, indeed. And we have 3 opportunities. We have now the Euros, we have the Nations League, and we have the World Cup. But I think the World Cup is again a year and a half further. Alderweireld is now 32, Vertonghen is 34. And I didn't really mention it, but our defense is not that good. We play a very attacking system, and with Vertonghen, Denayer, and Alderweireld, it's not really good.
Yeah, I was going to ask you what the strengths and weaknesses are of this side.
Yeah.
Would you say your defense is definitely your weakness?
Yes, definitely.
And without Witsel there as well as the glue, that kind of makes it worse, right?
I think the fact that you said that Courtois is one of the important players, it kind of made it clear, wait a minute, if he's one of the important players, that means he must have to make a fair few saves, which means that defense is weak. And
it is.
We're looking at Alderweireld has had a pretty poor season with Spurs, to his standards. Vermaelen plays in Japan. You got Vertonghen at Benfica, so Portuguese league not great. Then you've got Meunier at Dortmund has had a reasonable season. Then you've got Castagna, who's struggled a bit with injury at Leicester this season. Then Donker, who we all know from Wolves, he's like your 4.5 million. I'll have him on the bench. And then Denayer, who seems to be appearing in absolutely every single draft that I see on Twitter, because people want a piece of this Belgian defence. We'll talk about it in a minute from a fantasy point of view, but I'm getting the feeling that if I want a piece of the Belgian defence, I should be going Courtois instead of.
Indeed, yeah. I was going to tell you that, but you already figured it out.
I'm just getting that feeling.
Let's talk about fantasy then, and we'll talk about the defence in a moment. Before we kind of go through the players and the options from this Belgium side, just a couple of questions. So we normally ask every rep, are there any players here that you look at that are out of position, either listed as a defender and play midfield, or midfield and defense, or midfield and attack, etc.?
Yeah, there are a couple. We have, as I mentioned, we play with that 3-4-2-1 system, and our wingers, they really don't play as defenders. So Meunier or Castagne, who is going to play, I think Castagne is going to play. They play really as midfielders and not as defenders. So if Meunier play or if Castagne play, that both are really interesting players, because they in Belgium, they are so attacking. Yeah, it's incredible. And the other at the left side, it's Torgan Hazard or Chadli, but they are midfielders, so they aren't interesting. But on that right side, yeah, Meunier or Castagne, they are out of position. Really, it is incredible how attacking, especially Thomas Meunier. For our Belgium side, he made 7 goals and 14 assists in 46 games. So,
that's a lot for a defender.
Yeah, it's a lot. But I think tonight Martinez played with the team. He's gonna play Saturday, except Chadli won't play. It will be Torgan Hazard on that left wing position, and so I think Castagne will play on that right side. But I'm not sure of that.
What's the team that you think will start then?
On Saturday?
Yeah.
I think in goal Courtois, at the back Vertongen, De Nayer, Alderweireld. Then the wing back at the right, Castagne, I think. Central, Tielemans with Den Donker, and at the left, Torgan Hazard. And then in front we have Carrasco, Mertens, and Lukaku.
Okay, so you think on that left wing back position it's going to be Hazard?
Yes,
Hazard.
Torgan Hazard, yes.
Okay.
And other guys out of position, yeah. Actually, Carrasco and Eden Hazard, they play, and actually Kevin De Bruyne ook. They are classified as midfielders, but when they play in that high position behind Lukaku, they are so high on the pitch. It's actually almost the second striker position. So they play the same place where Mertens is on the field, but Mertens is a forward player. It's the same place as Trossard, as Doku, but those guys are forward players. So De Bruyne, Hazard, and Carrasco, they play on the same place as those guys, but classified as a midfielder. So they are a bit out of position.
Okay. And is there any players here that you look at and not necessarily great options, or could be good options, but you think are just really either overpriced or underpriced? In relation to the other players in other nations, you don't think their pricing is correct?
Overpriced for now, Eden Hazard, because 10 million for a guy who didn't play for 2 years is a lot of money. Yeah, and I think he won't play the first 3 games. He won't start, I think. So 10 million, I recommend everyone don't go for Eden Hazard because he won't play. I think 11 million for Lukaku is too low.
Really?
Yeah, I see 12 million for Ronaldo and Mbappe. So I don't know why, but I'm happy with 11 million for Lukaku. Because he will score. He will score a lot.
I think that's one thing I thought with, like, when you're sort of making those first drafts and you're thinking, what 3 or 4 premiums do I really want to go for? And for me, for match day 1, it was Ronaldo first, and Lukaku was the second person I put in my team.
Yes. And the most underpriced player for Belgium is Carrasco. 7 million. He will play. He's classified as a midfielder, but he actually plays in front behind Lukaku. And when De Bruyne isn't on the field, he takes all the set pieces. And I think De Bruyne won't be on the field in the first game. So Carrasco will be a 7 million player for Belgium who plays in front, almost in front, and he take all the corners, all the free kicks, not penalties. Penalties will be Lukaku. So he's so underpriced. It's incredible. And Tielemans, 6.5. He scores sometimes. So and also tonight he almost gave 2 assists. So Tielemans 6.5 will play always 90 minutes. Is great value for money. Yeah, and in the back, okay, Courtois 6 million, but he makes a lot of saves because we are defensively not so great. But I think 6 million is too big, too much for a goalkeeper. So then there is one player left. It's Jason Denayer, 4.5. He will play, and Belgium will keep. I think they will keep a clean sheet. Tonight against Croatia, the team was very good, so maybe 2 clean sheets. So Denayer, I get the fuzz about him. A 4.5 defender that will start for Belgium. It's yeah, it's a good option. It's a good fantasy option.
Okay, so let's look at, I guess, this pool of players, because as we've gone through this podcast and as we come towards the end and the last couple now, we've noticed the podcast get longer and longer because obviously from each of the stronger options, there's more and more players. And I think Belgium is one of those sides that there are lots of options to go for.
Yes.
So let's talk through them, starting from the back to going up to the top. Who should we be looking at from a Belgian point of view of fantasy options? I know throughout this pod we've been speaking, but let's go in a bit more detail now.
Defensive.
Yeah.
I won't go. I shouldn't. No, wouldn't go for Courtois. He's too expensive. But defenders. Denayer, 4.5, nailed position. So, and he is a little threat on set pieces. He's there always. So he scored a couple games back. He scored a goal. So he's there. And tonight he gave the assist for the goal for Lukaku. So Denayer, he's always there for set pieces. 4.5 million in a good Belgium squad. He's great value for money. So that is a very good player for the fantasy. And besides Denayer, yeah, Castagne or Meunier are great options because they have the clean sheets potential, but they have so much attacking potential. But the question is, who gonna play? I guess Castagne. But when we see against Russia that one of the 2 guys starts, we will know the other. He will play the rest of the tournament normally as the first, as the nailed player on that position. And from match day 2 on, the player Meunier or Castagne is a really good option.
But do you not think that for match day 3? So let's say Castagne starts match day 1, right? Right. So let's say match day 1, Castagne starts. So we believe that he's the starter, and then Castagne will play match day 2.
Yes.
But then if you guys are already through, then Meunier might play match day 3. But then from the last 16, then we know that Castagne is going to be the preferred one. So
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So that position I would hold. So for now, defensively on the defense, it's Denayer, and I will wait for the pick of Castagne or Meunier. But when we know, it's a great pick. It really is a great pick. So, but I would wait now to know who of the 2 will play.
Okay.
So we go midfield. In midfield, yeah, of course, when he plays De Bruyne, 10 million and a half is really not that much, I think. And he in Belgium, and in City too, he's so great, so much assists. So he take every set piece. What do I have to say more about Kevin De Bruyne? Everyone knows him. 10.5 it's a great option because he's a great player. And when you pick him, he scores and he gave assists for Lukaku. It always will be Lukaku. And besides De Bruyne, you have to go for Carrasco. Carrasco for match day 1, 7 million on set pieces in a very attacking position. Yeah, I think the most incredible fantasy option for match day 1 is Yannick Carrasco.
But I assume you'll still be captaining Lukaku on
Yes, of course,
the Belgium day.
Yes, of course. Yeah. And other besides De Bruyne and Carrasco, I've maybe if you are 1.5 million short, you can go for Tielemans. Tielemans, he's not that attacking because he doesn't play in that role, but he scores now and then. He gave an assist now and then. He will play 90 minutes, so he's a good option. Not a great option, but a good option.
Okay.
And in attack, there is only one guy. That is Lukaku, of course, the Belgian Pookie.
The Belgian Pookie.
And yeah, maybe there is Mertens. Mertens, if you don't have the money for Lukaku, you are stupid if you don't have the money for Lukaku. But if you don't have the money for Lukaku, you can go for Mertens. He will play the first game also. He's 9 million. He scores now and then. He's a good player, but he's not on set. Sometimes he take the free kicks. So Mertens 9 million. I wouldn't go there, but you can go there. He will play.
I mean,
yeah, we haven't really spoken much about Mertens this evening. Does he do much for this Belgium side? Is he more of a playmaker, like the assist to assister, or is he kind of like Firmino type player? What kind of player is he for Belgium?
No, he has been a really, really, really important player. Not so much the last couple of years, but I think between the first years that Belgium was become stronger and stronger, he was a substitute, and every time he fell in, he was substituted. He scored a goal, and after a couple of years, he managed to nail his place in the team, and yeah, he scored a lot. I don't know his stats for sure, but he scores a lot. But now, okay, he's 35, I guess. No, he's 34. He didn't play so much for Napoli because he was injured also. But still, in his, I wrote it down from Mertens. In his 1,467 minutes this year for Napoli, he scored 9 goals and 8 assists. So that is a return every 86 minutes. So
it's not bad.
Fantasy-wise, he still is a good player. And for Belgium, he is so enjoying the playing for Belgium. He loves the country, so yeah, he still is a good pick in fantasy.
I'm just wondering if you're not going, because you're not going to be doubling up, so you're literally going for Mertens instead of Lukaku. I'm wondering, isn't it actually, if you're not going for Lukaku, then Carrasco, like, you may as well just go the 2 million less than Mertens and go for Carrasco instead, who we've seen has got the form towards the end of the season. He's had a huge season for Atletico, and I'm just wondering whether there's a better value there, either going Lukaku or Carrasco or both, rather than Mertens. Would you agree?
I don't look at Mertens. For me, it's Carrasco and Lukaku. They are nailed in my team for the first match. match day.
I was just thinking the same thing. Yeah, I
They're
wasn't.
nailed.
I wasn't. I think I've come at the end of every pod going, "Yep, I'm getting that
I'm
player." And
getting
I've had
that
like
player, that player.
I've got like 25 players in my squad that can only fit 15 in. So I assume you will be taking 3 Belgium players in your fantasy side. If not, how many are you taking, and who are kind of almost definitely in that match day one side for you from a Belgian point of view?
For now, it's already Carrasco and Lukaku, and that won't change. Those two will start, and I think Denier will be there too. But for now, he's not in my team.
You're a bit hesitant about Denier. Is
I'm
there
a
a
bit.
reason for that, or because he does offer a lot of value at 4.5? I know you're not that confident about the defense, but there aren't that many I mean, there are a few 4.5 options, but I would say they're equally as good as each other. What concerns you about having Denier on your side?
It's more I am spreading my players over the 5 match days in
Right. Okay.
and when I pick Denier, I have so many players in those in the first 2 match days. So it's more a fantasy problem, a Euro fantasy problem.
Bit of
If
strategy more.
yeah, if maybe for now I've Pau Torres from Spain instead of Denier because he plays in the third match day, the third day from match day 1. So that's otherwise, if Belgium was in Group D, he would be my team now. But it's more a problem from spreading your chances on the couple days.
Yeah. So strategy point of view.
Yeah, strategy point of view. Yeah, really.
I'll be on. I've thought the same about that because I've got Pau Torres, and then I've got at the moment 2 of the Danish defenders as well. For
Me
their
too.
fixture against Finland, and it's just like I looked at Denier and I was like, wait a minute, I'm piling a lot of defenders in on Saturday, and if they if they don't pick anything up, the one defender I've got to fall back on is a 4 million defender for North Macedonia. Who's still in there from
Ristovski.
recording episode 1. But yeah, it's definitely something to think about whilst we're piling in, and we know that a lot of people are generally going for this match day 1 kind of free hit strategy, where you can just go with whoever you think has got the best chance of a clean sheet. But yeah, if Denmark, Belgium, and Spain don't keep clean sheets, then you might be struggling a bit. Well, if the players then don't return attacking wise, which if you're going for a centre half, it makes it even more unlikely. Like I think if you knew that Castagna was definitely starting, I'd be happy to take that gamble, because he's more
Yeah.
attacking and the chances of returns are higher. But with a centre half, I want an almost definite clean sheet. I want 6 points in the bag for them.
Yeah,
And I
and
think
I know Russia, and Russia scored in our qualifications also 2 times against us, and they really have a good striker. Juba is a really good striker. He's a big guy, so I'm not confident in keeping a clean sheet against Russia.
because he'll try and I think we've seen and all of our old, like we've already said, he's had a really disappointing season with Spurs.
Mm-hmm.
And Vertonghen and deny someone like Artem Chuba is going to go in there and be a bully, like
Yes, of course.
knowing that these 3 might not be very comfortable with someone that's really big, tall, strong coming in there and basically doing what Lukaku's going to be doing at the other end. But maybe trying to be even more
But better.
but better. Okay, Lukaku, yeah, might be better. But yeah, these 3 at the back, they're going to be like you said, how attacking minded they are. So they are going to be left isolated at times, especially with Witsel not there, sort of mopping up and being that extra defensive player for them.
Indeed.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I'm not sure I really want to trust in a defender when there's those other 4.5s there available that I feel that might have a better chance of a clean sheet.
Yeah, that's my opinion too. So yeah.
Rob, have you got any questions for Joachim before we kind of wrap up?
No,
That
because
I might be missed.
the one thing I did want to ask about was Carrasco, and we've covered it. And he's like, when we finish this, he is going into my my 126th version of my draft for.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
probably
the
for
great,
both the official game and the other game as well.
the great thing is I saw today he's only in 2% of the teams, so it's really a differential.
I think
He'll be 5% at the end of this pod then. To listen.
I mean, if you look at the ownership, like players like De Bruyne is still one of the higher. I think there's 30% ownership. Hazard is still over 20%. I think by the time people actually realise, do we know? Will Roberto Martinez probably have his press conference on Friday? I imagine Friday afternoon, which we're quite lucky that we're going to be getting. We might get the Meunier or Castagna information from that press conference. Which we're lucky that this is going to be one of those opportunities where we're going to get a press conference before the game to help us maybe make those decisions. But yeah, it's like we know already De Bruyne's out, and I mean I don't think I was really considering him before anyway. I think I was preferring Lukaku as the option. But yeah, I just want to know whether it's Meunier or Castagna, really. I just want to know which one it is. And I was hoping you'd give me the answer.
I would say I'm 80% sure it will be Castagna.
You put your head out there now.
Yeah, 80%.
What makes you say that? Is it? Would you say Meunier is a better player or Castagna, or is it the style of play?
Castagna is a better player. He's a better defender than Meunier, and because we aren't that good defending, we need Castagna. We need the better defender of the two. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and because Meunier played against Greece, the weaker side, and tonight against Croatia, Castagna played. I think that, yeah, I'm not sure. 70%.
He's gone from 80% to 70%. Let's stop now before he goes down to 50%, and we're back to where we were half an hour ago.
No, I was talking. I was thinking what I was saying, and in my my conclusion would say that Shadley would play on the winger left, but that won't be. It will be Torgan Hazard, and Torgan Hazard, he played against Greece, so I don't know.
Joachim, is there anything that we haven't discussed that you think is important to know before we go about Belgium or about fantasy with Belgium or anything to do with that?
No, I think we covered all.
Yeah, everything covered?
Yeah. Yes, I think so.
And Rob, any question from you before we go?
No, I think it's it's definitely been good to have you on.
Detailed.
Yeah, and hear about this Belgian side that, like, we know have been the world number one for so long, but and we know who Kevin De Bruyne is, we know who Romelu Lukaku is, but many people that don't follow La Liga or watch much of the Champions League outside of the English clubs might not know who Yannick Carrasco is, and the fact that he's had a great season with Atletico. So it's hopefully we've given the listeners another reasonably priced midfielder to have a think about and ponder over the next few days whilst they finalise their teams.
Yeah, because I only like the last that I knew. So I did a reading a couple of days ago about Carrasco, and I heard how well he did at Atleti. But before that, he went to China and is basically being crap at China and not really, done much. And then he came to Atleti this season on. I think, is he still on loan or is he gone there
No,
permanently now?
he was last year. He came on loan in January,
Yeah,
and now in the summer, past summer, Atletico buy Carrasco back because it was his second time there. He
yeah.
went from Atletico to China, and now he made the move back. So he's a player of Atletico, not from China anymore.
Yeah, because I know that he's had a tough kind of 6, 7 years in both his personal life and professional life.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I understood that. Yeah, so you're right, Rob, that there will be a lot of people that might still think that Carrasco is in China and kind of don't really know much about him. So it's good to get that perspective from you, Joachim. Thank you so much for joining us. I've learned a lot, and it's been great talking to you. It's clear to see that you're amazing football fan and you're fanatic of it, so it's nice to kind of talk about Belgium with you in so much detail, so we really appreciate that.
Definitely.
I had a really good time. I want to thank you guys for this opportunity to talk about my country. So thank you guys. You are doing a great job.
Thank you. Cheers, Joachim.
Thank you very much.
To the listeners, thanks for tuning in. Please like and subscribe and look out for our next installment. Have a good day. Bye bye.
Thanks, guys.